Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming and checking out the vinyl collection show. This is where I'm going through the old records, seeing what I have. It's been a long time to just go through it and take a look at things. It's a very peaceful thing to do. You kind of forget how nice it is just to go back through the records and just sit on the floor and flip through records, open them up, see what pictures are inside, see if there's posters, all that fun stuff. So that's what we're doing. I thought, let's do a live show about it. Let's invite some friends over and let's go through our music stacks together and see what comes up. So this is episode 3 of this. We are working backwards. If you want to go back, if you haven't seen anything else, you can start at episode 1. We started at Z and worked our way to like the S's. And then episode 2, we started at S, Springsteen, and worked our way all the way to Willie Nelson. And I think we'll start at the M's today. And I'm lucky and privileged enough to have 2 guests with me for this show. You'll know the first guy if you watch the second episode, because he was the big star of episode 2, Matt Bandy.
Hello, Bill.
He brought some big guns to that episode.
I don't know. I don't think I just added some maybe variety. Our record collections, I think, are a little different. Some similarities, but yeah, just added some variety to the show.
Yeah, quality. I'm glad you came back, though. I definitely like putting Matt Bandy as the face of the show to bring all of the audience here. So that was pretty fun. So not only that, we not only have me and Matt Bandy, you can call him Big Bandy, by the way, he likes that. We also are adding my musical brother, Kevin, Buried on Mars, is showing up. Me and Kevin go way back with music together, I gotta say.
The 90s. Go back to the 90s.
We've traded guitar licks together. We've traded records together. We've been to record shows. Mm-hmm. We've been to concerts. We've done all kinds of stuff. He's helped himself to many titles out of my stash. And
not true.
I found him later at his house when I visit. Wish. So it's only fitting that he shows up on this show.
Our musical taste does overlap.
And a big hello to everyone who's popping in on the... Yeah.
Sorry. Go for it.
True. Well, it is exciting because you have the Mars money, so you just go out and buy whatever you want, which is going to be exciting to see.
Yes, in my Honda Fit, while you pass by me in your large SUV.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But hey, a big thank you to everyone who's showing up in the live stream. The chat is open. We're going to keep an eye on that. We have Eric, Mighty Q Dog, is showing up. Deke is showing up. Sam, Techno Dork, Producer Jay, Retro Pixels here. So everyone, it's good to see you. Thanks for popping in. If you have any comments, drop them in there and we'll hopefully get to them. Before I start though, I forgot to bring the props out. We had a question last week that I forgot to get to. Chris Roberts asked, what do you do to clean your records? Which is probably a really good thing people should talk about. How do you clean your records? Matt, Bandy, what's your hint?
Okay.
Yeah, start with Bandy. I'm going to look for my stuff.
Okay.
There's just a solution by Audio Techniques that I use on stuff that's maybe a little dusty or that if I buy from used record stores, I'll use that. But I've never really done any deep cleaning on records. Most of the stuff that I buy is usually pretty clean to begin with. So I know and have seen some people use a wood glue for some extreme deep cleaning into the grooves. Have you ever seen that, Kevin or Bill? Have you ever seen the wood glue technique?
Yeah, I've seen that on YouTube.
Yeah, I've never done it myself, but I used to collect 60s Soul 45s, and I know a lot of lot of people that collect those will use that technique to help clean those, but I've never done that.
Well,
No, I don't have the guts to do that.
Explain the wood glue. What do? You put it right on there, and I guess
You
it gets
put it
into
right
the-
on, yeah, and then when it dries, you kind of peel it off, and it pulls it out.
And I
Yeah.
guess that gets into the grooves and is supposed
Into
to
the
pull
grooves, yeah.
out all the dirt.
Yeah.
I must
I
be on
had-
some real big delay because every time I start talking, it's you guys have moved on to another topic.
Really? You look, it's fine here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're interacting well with us, so
Okay.
it's
fair
your
enough.
head.
Maybe. Might be.
What about you, Kevin? Do you use any special techniques to?
I got two things for records that need a deep clean. I have it's just a device. I would have grabbed it if I knew that this was going to be a topic. It's the record kind of sits in it like vertically,
Mhm.
and you spin it around, and there's
Yeah.
a couple of soft brushes on each side of it, and I think my technical team is grabbing it for me right now. Look at this. Very good. Thank you, ma'am.
Look at that. He's
This
got
is,
production assistants.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Spin clean.
yeah. My local shop carries that.
So the record top comes off, and the record goes in here, and inside there's actually, if you could go to my second camera, Bill, that would.
Okay. Hold on.
I
The
got a
director
TD.
is
I got
not being paid
production.
enough.
It's, I don't know.
My mouse died. Hold on. What is going on?
Okay, so that's the inside there. So these are the two brushes. So the record sits in there like that, and these are just cloths. And then these, so these are for your different sizes, you know, in the two.
Oh, okay.
So they holds it in place like that. And yeah, like if you got a 45s, you know, so they're small like that. And the solution sits in the bottom there, and you just spin the record a few times, and then you pull them out, and you put them on like a dish rack,
Mhm.
you know, like you would use to dry your dishes. And you got the cloths here and that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's for the deep ones, but for the everyday stuff, I just have a brush that I found years ago at a hawk shop or something, or Valley Village, and someone, I guess they didn't know what it was. They put it in with like the other like knitting stuff, the arts and crafts stuff, and that. But it's a nice soft brush for just taking the surface dust off of the records, and that's what I mostly use.
Yeah,
Now,
I tried to look for my brush and I can't find it.
do you use
So,
a
yeah.
special solution for that you make up yourself, or is it you have to buy it? Is it
No, I this system came with some, and then if you want more, you have to buy some more. But it's not very expensive. I guess it wasn't in there. I can't remember what it's called, but it's some sort of solution.
Yeah.
What about for your brush? Do you use anything on your brush?
No, it's just like for taking the surface stuff off. If you
Sure.
want it like a deeper cleaning, you have to use that. But I mean, really, I find if you have a scratchy, poppy record, something like that might help it a little bit. But once the dirt gets in the grooves, that's it. Like the record's kind of done. So you're either going to be, it's a record that you've had a long time and you love all the scratches and pops because it kind of becomes part of the song, or you're just going to have to get a new one, get a new copy.
Yeah. Back in the day, they had that vacuum thing. You could set your record right in and it would vacuum it up. That must have been great.
I think you could still get those, but they are not cheap.
I used the brush, and also I was in a thrift store, and they there was one of those huge, you know, the big console credenza record players from the 80s that you open the hatch to get at the record player. There was one of those there, and I opened it up and looked at it because I do have a fantasy of owning one of those at one point, but who has the room for those? Kevin, maybe. But
the time too. Apparently, it takes a long time to go through that whole process. There was that vinyl documentary that came out years ago, like 20 years ago, that had one guy that went through his entire collection, and he he was cleaning them all with that vacuum cleaner, and then he would play them because that was the only true way to get all the dirt out of them, is to play with. And he had like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of records or tens of thousands of records, I guess, and it took him like 4 or 5 years to go through them all.
So he would clean it and then immediately play it afterwards?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then put it away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done.
Yeah.
This was the day before digital too. So I imagine now, like you would convert it to digital or something and never play it again. But yeah.
BigBandy, you gotta get that documentary if you've never seen it. It's just called Vinyl.
Okay. I have
It's
seen
on
it.
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Yeah. There's a few on, I don't know if it's on Netflix or Prime. It's called, was it Old Records Collecting Dust? Or there's a few on there that are pretty interesting. More about the kind of collecting aspect of the hobby.
Yeah, this is more about the psychology of it.
Mm-hmm.
It dovetails into hoarders quite nicely.
Okay.
But as I was saying, in the big console thing I was looking through, I found this little cloth in a plastic baggie, and it was labeled like record cleaning cloth, and it was clearly from the 50s or something. And you open it up and it's like got this tackiness to it that is unexplainable, and it never stops being tacky. It's like that painter's cloth you use, to wipe off your sanding. And you use that on records and it just, sucks the stuff right out of the grooves, and it leaves no residue on your record player. And it's like 60 years old. So pretty crazy. And I can't find it right now, which is bothering me. But question for Kevin from the chat. Producer Jay asks, what's the name of your spin device called?
It's called a spin clean record washer system, and you can grab them on eBay. That's the logo there.
And
or
the
not,
beauty
not
of that,
eBay, Amazon.
right,
You can
is
grab them on Amazon.
your labels will pretty much stay dry, right? Because your labels aren't being submerged.
So yeah, the label is not in the water at all. The record's record sits in there like this, and it just spins around. If only I had a record near me where I could put it in there and show you. Yeah, let me do that quickly.
I kind of forgot that since I really want more subscribers to this channel, you really got to subscribe, guys, if you're watching. I know the face of this show, rightly so, is the BigBandy show, so I thought I should really
hey, there we go.
Get this going here. Huh? That's what I'm talking about.
That's good.
Yeah. Not too shabby. Yeah.
Keep your headphones on too. Yeah.
I did not think to grab a bandana.
This is what Keith Moon would do, right? With his headphones, he would duct tape all around his head. Yeah, it's not staying on. I'll have to work on that during intermission.
So that's how the record sits in the machine, just like that, and you just spin it around. It needs to be a little more sturdy than me holding it up in the air, but it's a little tight in there.
And I missed the part. Did you say you air dry it, or you should take a cloth to it?
You take. It's been a while since I've done it, but you do. I have these cloths here. You want to take most of the moisture off with these cloths. They look like diapers, actually. But these are the cloths that came with it. But to use these are like microfiber cloths to take most of it off, and then you want to air dry it before you play it, because if you don't, you can actually, there might be some dirt or something in there in the water. You can ruin your needle, basically, is what they said, if you don't let it air dry. So you have to let it air dry, and you want to use distilled water too, not tap water, because there could be impurities in your tap water,
right? That
could get into
the minerals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is that it for the preamble? Are we good? Everyone happy? Thanks again, guys, for joining me. Thanks, everyone in the chat, for stopping on by. This is going to be fun. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Right, Matt Bandy?
That's right.
Criminal.
It's criminal.
Criminal. If you guys will indulge me, I'll start with something special again, like I've done the last couple episodes. It's nothing that crazy, but I'm going to pull you guys out of the stream for a second so I can have all the spotlight to myself. I started with the Zeds, like I told you last time. But as I explained before, as I'm going through my records, some will be missing because as I pull records, as I've played over the years, I'm not so good at putting stuff back. What can you do? So in the Zeds, one of my favorite records was missing. And let me throw it up here so you can see it. There it is, a Zappa record, Mothers of Invention. And I don't know if you remember what I said. I said, I'm missing that pencil front album. And this is it, live at the Fillmore. And we talked a lot in episode 2 about Bill Graham, the Fillmore, and the concerts there. This was a big one, Frank Zappa and the Mothers. It's like a lot of stuff you would have heard on the 200 Motels album or the movie. It's Flo and Eddie being awesome. Just vocal craziness going on. The end of side 1 and to start side 2 is Willie the Pimp, which is just blows your brains out. Sorry, I gotta add you guys back to the stream so you can comment. So yeah, let's take a look here. Look at it, it's not bad shape. A little bit of ring wear, but for this kind of album, pencil front, it's supposed to look worn in a little bit.
How's the recording on that?
I heard how's the recording. It's awesome.
Good.
It's good. Yeah. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise therein. It's a nice little speech there. The other side. There's a coupon. For now, welcome, if you will, the Straight Bizarre Sampler, Zapped. Fascinating, significant tracks from the albums of Zappa. For only $1. And you could get multiple copies. Haven't seen those around. Whoa. This is bad. Oh, boy. I guess I've listened to the MP3s more recently than the actual album here.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, my copy's in much better shape than that.
I bet you it used to be mine. That's probably what happened.
I don't think so.
Holy mackerel.
Why would I steal that out of your collection?
Eric's dropped out of the feed for us. He's got stuff to do. But thanks for dropping in, Eric. But his wife, Melissa, has tagged in. So, oh, my God. This is horrible. This is my special record.
Well, you're going to have to come with me to another record show so you can get a better copy of that. Because I see that all the time.
I had no idea. Well, the cover's in good shape, I guess.
It's in okay shape. All right.
Wow. Okay. Now, Bandy, what do you got to start us off?
Well, I'm going to start off with a little bit of 70s rock and roll that will segue into a current artist. This is a band, another one that I heard a little bit when I was younger, but didn't really get into them until I was much older. And that is a band called Montrose, which, if you don't know, the vocal is named after the guitar player, Ronnie Montrose. But I don't know if this was Sammy Hagar's first band, but Sammy Hagar is the vocalist on this, which I'm not a huge fan of Sammy Hagar, but this doesn't really sound very Hagar-ish, if you can understand what I'm saying. It's just pretty straightforward rock and roll, a little bit of blues influence, Led Zeppelin influence, but real kind of catchy guitar hooks. This record was from 1973. There's a couple tracks on here. Bad Motor Scooter is pretty well known, and the Rock Candy is probably the I don't know if it was a single off that, but that's another track off of this that people might know. Are you guys familiar with Montrose or like Montrose at all?
Did you say Ronnie James Montrose?
Ronnie Montrose. Did I say Ronnie James Montrose?
No, I'm making funnies. That's all. No, I have not heard of that.
Yeah, I'm aware of Montrose and that Sammy Hagar's in the band, and I know a couple of the tunes, but I haven't really listened to them too much.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know when I first heard the band that it was Sammy Hagar singing. He doesn't. I don't know if he's obviously pretty young when this record came out, but I really don't. I don't like any Hagar's solo stuff or the stuff he did with Van Halen. So I was actually kind of surprised that I'm like, oh, I was into this record, but yeah, it's good. There's quite a few records. This is the only one that I own on vinyl, but yeah, overall it's a pretty solid release that doesn't get talked about a bunch.
None of the stuff he did with Van Halen, not even 5150.
Not at all. I can't stand. I really don't like it. It's his vocals. I just don't. Not that he's a bad singer. I don't like it.
That's a shame.
Sorry.
Nice work. I like a guy who takes a stand. I agree with you, Bandy.
You guys, come on.
All right, Kevin, you had a whole week to think about this. What do you got for us?
To think about what? Hold on a second. Let me get this out of the way. Keep throwing me curveballs here.
We get to throw to your ISO cam too. Here.
Okay, well, I got a few things. Okay, you know what? I know where I'll go first. I know what I'm gonna do here. Hold on. Hey, don't show all that yet. Nobody's seen that yet. Hold on.
What a presenter, folks.
Well, I didn't say take my second camera yet. Hold on.
Well, it was teasing.
Okay. So yeah. Okay, I'll go with this one first. Nice short thing here first. So this is a picture disc that means a little something to me because I got this when I was a teenager. Before I even had like a turntable or anything. My parents had one, but I didn't have one myself. And I just saw this in a shop somewhere, and I didn't even know these things existed. This was the first time I had ever seen a picture disc where they superimpose a picture onto a vinyl record, and it blew me away when I was flipping through some old records, and I saw this. Being the ACDC fan that I am. So this is a single of so in 1992 they came up with ACDC Live, and it's the Highway to Hell single with an exclusive track on side 2. Don't look at all that. An exclusive track to this, a different version of High Voltage on the side 2. Yeah, so this came out on CD as well, but yeah, that was a pretty cool find for me. That they had a picture disc, and it was Angus right in there.
Are you saying that's post Bond?
Yeah, this came out in 1992.
Oh, 92. Oh.
Yeah, so in 92 they had ACDC Live, which was their second live set with Brian Johnson doing the vocals for all the songs. So there are a couple of Bon Scott songs, but Brian Johnson's on vocals.
That was
Sorry.
No, that was a pretty big record when that first came out, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was very successful.
Mm-hmm.
I was thrown off because Kevin said he was a teenager when he got this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was a teenager.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I see. Anyways, my very first picture disc, and I still have it.
Nice. That's a 12-inch single, you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
By the way, Deke over in the comments here, I'm checking out. He says that he confirms that Montrose album is Sammy's first album.
Nice.
Then he asked me, he said, Kev, you going ZZ? So I don't know if he thinks I'm going to sleep or if he's asking if I'm going to ZZ Top. I don't have tickets to see ZZ Top. I did go see them a few years ago, but I wouldn't mind seeing them again. But I think the tickets came on sale when all this COVID stuff happened and all that. But I only have tickets to go see one show this year, and that concert already got pushed back. But I'll be talking about that album in a bit.
Is ZZ Top touring on their own, or they went with Fogerty for a while, didn't they?
Yeah, and I really wish I would have been able to see that, but that didn't line up for me. But yeah, I think they're just doing the casinos and that. I think I saw they were at Falls View, which is a little bit away for me. But oh, am I showing some ZZ Top vinyl? Yes, I do have one ZZ Top vinyl here to show.
You got to tune into episode 1 of this series. You get to see some of Bill's ZZ Top vinyl.
Yeah, but what I got, you don't have.
Well, I look forward to seeing it.
All right,
but now you got to wait because I'm going to start running through the M's.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hold on, I got to get my thing going. This is hard. I got to direct the show. I got to talk. I'm telling you, solo layout. Here we go. Nice. M's, Van Morrison, Van the Man. This was probably the latest Van Morrison album I have gotten, and is it the best one? Maybe. I would say. Let me focus here. Into the Mystic is my favorite Van Morrison song. It's one of those songs where I'm telling you, just my eyes roll back in my head when that song comes on. I just love it. Other great tracks on there. Let's see what this looks like. It's got the gatefold. This is in great shape, considering what the last album looked like. Van Morrison has a really interesting history too. If you're bored, look up his biography, see his roots. Look at the shape this one's in. Okay, I should have started with this one. Look at that. Beautiful. That's how they're supposed to be, right, guys? So Van Morrison, Moon Dance. It's a good song to sing. I'll sing that to you anytime you want, if you guys want to hear me sing that. And we'll continue on with some more Van Morrison. Wavelength. What's on here? Kingdom Hall, checking it out. Wavelength, of course. BigBandy, what's Van Morrison rate in your books? Is he in there?
I'm sorry. It's I do like some of his later stuff. Oddly enough, there was Blue. It was I think it might have just been called Blue. But yeah, I dig some of his stuff. If I had never heard Brown Eyed Girl or any of those tracks again, I would be okay with that. To me, it was just, I just heard it so much, it's so overplayed. But some of the deeper cuts and later stuff, I think is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, like I said, that Into the Mystic. If you go on YouTube, there's someone put up a live version he did. It's over 8 minutes long, and it's orgasmic. He brings the group to a crescendo and pulls it back and then lets it build again, and the band is super tight. It's so good. I love it. And of course, we'll talk about The Last Waltz again. Van the Man and The Last Waltz, Caravan, is such an amazing track. I love it, especially that version is just great. So there you have it. There's the Van Morrison. That's it. No, I got more M's, but does anyone want to continue? Matt Bandy?
Yeah, sure. I'll talk about one record here. This is kind of a segue record from the first one the Montrose record. So Bill Church, the bass player of Montrose, his son is now a musician and has a few different bands, but this band is called Haunt, which I believe Kevin is familiar with because I think I forced him to listen to this record. But this Trevor Church is the man behind this band. He has another band that he plays in as well that's called Beastmaker. That's another good band. But this band, Haunt, on this record, he recorded everything himself, which besides, I don't think he did the drums, but the amount of music Trevor writes is ridiculous. Haunt already has. This is their first. I wouldn't call it a full length. This is more of an EP because it only has 4 tracks on it. But it's heavily inspired by traditional heavy metal, very melodic, catchy guitar riffs. So if you like new wave of British heavy metal, Judas Priest type stuff, you should check it out. But this record came out in 2000, I think 2000. This came out, but it's on a blue splatter. I don't know if we call this splatter or splotch vinyl. But that's another thing I really like when the record itself will kind of match the album artwork itself with some of the colored vinyl pressings. I dig that. So
there's their thumbnail again, right there.
So, but yeah, this band just came out with a new record a few months ago that is getting some praise. I haven't listened to it yet, but the amount of music this is him right here, Trevor. The amount of music that he writes and records himself is ridiculous. It's almost overwhelming, and I haven't kept up with all of it for the sheer amount of it. But yeah, if you like melodic, traditional, old school heavy metal, should give it a listen.
What about where the groove hits that splotch? Like, is there any kind of sound where the color is different there? I've never seen such a stark difference in color on one side.
Really?
Before.
Yeah. Nope.
That is cool. Yeah, it's usually like a big spread of different colors. Never that. Mm-hmm. There's like a line there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. And keep going, or you're on a run?
Oh yeah, I'll pull out another record here. So I showed this band last time, which is a band called Sleep. This is their latest record that came out last year. So this record came out, I think, was it last year? No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago today, this record came out. And this was the independent record store pressing record. This one, like I said, was put out on Third Man Records. This one is definitely more accessible than the record that I showed last time. This has about six tracks on it. They're all pretty long, but this record was kind of a surprise. It wasn't really talked about. It just kind of all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, we're putting out a record." So it was kind of a big deal. It had been over 10 years since they'd put out a new record, and if you can kind of tell, can you see who's on the toast here? You guys tell who that is?
Jesus?
No. Well, some might call him the Riff Jesus.
Lemmy?
No. It's Tony Iommi. Tony Iommi, yeah.
Oh.
So there's Tony Iommi on the toast, and over here on the milk craton, it's a picture of Bill Ward. Nice. And the butter there is Butler for Geezer. But yeah,
no love for Ozzy though in that.
I haven't found. I've looked hard. I can't find Ozzy anywhere in the eggs or the spilled orange juice. I can't find him anywhere.
Poor Ozzy.
Yeah, I mean, poor Ozzy.
I know that he didn't write the lyrics. Geezer Butler wrote the lyrics, but he still had to come up the melody over all those riffs, and that takes some talent.
Whoa,
and
look at that.
The vinyl itself is on a see-through clear green vinyl. Yeah. So this is definitely a Sleep record. Very, very slow, heavy, a lot of fuzz. Yeah, it's good. This record got a little bit of mainstream press. I think Pitchfork and some of the other publications. Yeah,
You know,
it's a good record.
Matt Bandy, today, Third Man Records, they put out some kind of announcement. I think it was on Twitter. And they announced that today there is more Sleep merchandise being pumped out for the anniversary of that record. So if you want some
Nice.
merch,
Yeah.
it's available today over at Third Man. All right, Kevin, help us out. What do you got?
Okay, well, on last episode, you guys were trashing bootlegs on vinyl, which I found very surprising because bootlegs on vinyl, I'll give you, if the recording itself isn't that good, if it's not a soundboard recording, vinyl's not going to help it. It's going to, if the original recording sounds like crap, it's going to sound like crap on vinyl. But if you can get yourself a something off of a soundboard, especially of a show that you know a little bit well. What do you mean no? Yes.
the ones I have, the bootlegs, it is a problem with the vinyl. It's pops and sounds in the vinyl. It might be soundboard and it's trademark quality bootlegs, but it's the manufacturing process. I don't know what they used.
That could be. All I can say is you guys are missing out a little bit. If you can check out the reviews of the show themselves and make sure that it's a quality show, there's a lot of fun that you can get from collecting bootlegs. If you hit on my second camera, Mr. Technical Director.
Sorry. Added
instance,
the wrong screen here.
One of the most you can see my foot. That's very good. One of the most famous.
How is he sitting?
That's how I always sit. That's probably why I have back problems. One of the most famous shows for ACDC is the Live at the Old Waldorf from '77. That's a terrific bootleg, and you got yourself a nice album cover there. That light is way too harsh on there. Do all my lighting on the fly. But yeah, this was one show on one disc, and I wasn't going to get it, but I knew the show was pretty good. But the jack was on side 1 and side 2 of this. They had to split it up because they took the show and they condensed it onto one disc, and that was a sacrifice I had to make. And I thought, well, if I'm ever going to get this show on vinyl, this is how I'm going to have to do it. And then the very next week, I went out hunting again, and I found the San Francisco Waldorf, exact same show on a double disc with the jack on in its entirety on one side. And you could, did I spend $30 on that? I think I did, which is not too bad for a double disc. But yeah, you get a lot of fun. You get a nice photo of the band, you haven't seen before. And then, you got yourself your gatefold and all that. There's some quality stuff out there. Like, not all of it is quality. I'll give it that. But, there's some good stuff. And then you can find, your picture discs, pretty good. Little Angus legs there. That's pretty good detail.
Jesus.
Was that a bootleg as well?
Yep. This is a different show. This is live.
Yeah, those are
Nashville.
high quality bootlegs, though. Do we even call them bootlegs?
Yeah, I do, because they're not official releases, right? These guys do a good job. This Air Cuts, that's the one you can check. But if you're ever not sure, like you're not, because sometimes they're crappy. Like they're just crappy recordings. Go home and check it out on YouTube or something like that, and make sure that it's a quality recording that you're going to get. And then some places they even do, or like this one was just a collection of different shows from 77 to 79, which had some cuts from the old Waldorf on it, but some stuff that they only got one good recording of that show or whatever, only a couple good songs that recorded really well, and then you put that on vinyl. that's another cool way to collect things. And you get all this cool artwork and stuff. So those are my ACDC ones. And I just wanted to show you one ZZ Top one for my buddy Deke. This is Hi-Fi Mama live from 1980. I knew this one was safe to pick up because this one is it's just a famous recording that they did during like just before they became really famous, and it's on YouTube, like the entire video of it. But this is a solid vinyl pressing of it, and it was, you know, anything that's done really for radio or television, you can almost be sure that it's going to be a higher quality recording than you know, someone just holding up a microphone inside of an event center or something like that. You know,
so that, what's the name of the label that put those out?
So they're called Air Cuts.
Air Cuts. So
you know,
what?
they even press these. This one was on 180 gram vinyl, which doesn't improve your audio quality. A lot of people think it does. It doesn't. All it does is it's a little thicker material, so it won't move as much on the platter. And if you bang something or whatever, it's, you know, it's got less chance for the needle to jump around or anything like that.
So obviously that label has put out quite a few bootlegs. Is that a kind of a gray area as far as how do they? It seems like they're established at putting out multiple bootlegs. Does the artist get a cut from that, or how is it just like what?
I don't ask those questions. I just see what I like and I buy, and I hope for the best. I mean,
to me,
I spend money. How many times have I bought Back in Black? They got my money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I have no problem with people buying bootlegs and stuff like that. But it's just it's funny to me how a label can get away with doing that, like without, you know, obviously they're not pressing those records themselves. They're being sent to some record pressing plant to put those out. So
I don't know.
it's I'd like to know more about that, like how bootlegs actually get made.
To me, that's not the bootleg I was thinking of. That's like a real organization pumping out these records. The bootlegs I'm talking about are there's no label on it. It's in a plain slip jacket, and someone like did a photocopy piece of paper with an obviously stolen image that's been photocopied 1 billion times and slipped in there. That's a bootleg.
I see. Okay, so I don't. Are you saying these are not bootlegs? They are
unofficial releases.
I mean, they're pressings of bootleg shows. That makes any sense.
There's just real organization behind those ones. I can look at those and go, obviously this is going to sound good. This looks like it's put together well. When I talk about the bootlegs that sound bad, it's those ones where it's just a photocopy, someone slipped in there, and it's a plain disc.
Well, I just wanted to interject some nuance to the bootleg conversation and not make it one size fit all. And I just point out that there are some good ones out there.
Oh, those ones look awesome, and I definitely take any one of them.
Well, you know what? I think I bought a few of these in Kingston, which is down by your area there, that you frequent a lot. So you can go and get yourself a copy over there.
Kingston is an awesome town.
Yeah.
It's a good record shopping town, too. Although Brian's Records has flooded.
Yes,
and,
actually, the last time we were in, or the time before that we were in Kingston, it was a couple of years ago, and they were talking. We were in a record store planning on going there, and there were people coming in talking about how that record store had flooded. So we weren't going to go there.
BigBandy, you should have seen this record store. It was wild. It's like where the records are like coming on top of you. They're just piled so high. They're mountains, and you squeeze your way down the aisles. And everything seems insanely out of order, but if you ask the crazy guy running the shop, he can find anything you want. He'll go, oh yeah, it's right over here. Burp, burp, burp. You take this. It's a wild store. I loved it.
I have my fingers crossed that this will be, whatever the heck this is, will be done before the summer, and we'll be able to take a trip down to Kingston again and visit some of the stores there, because there's that one store in the mall. It's not downtown, but you go. Every time I go in there, I'm just completely overwhelmed because they have so much stuff, just everywhere. And it's not just vinyl records. They have all the CDs. They have all the Blu-ray movies. They got everything in there. It's just crazy. I can't remember the name of it.
Do you guys have some good local shops close to you?
I got the one place I go to the most in Newmarket. It's a good store. I like it. The only thing is that everything used there is on consignment, so the prices are really out of whack because it's the people coming in that are dictating what the prices are, right?
Right. Yeah.
They're not too bad, but I really like the guy there in that, and for buying new stuff, he's just fine. The other store I really like is in Oshawa, and they're like a legit used record store. Like they do their own pricing in that. I love the fact, like when you go in there, the first thing to check out is the old new arrivals. They haven't even had time to price it yet or whatever. Just go in there and find stuff. It's like, okay, how much for this? How much for that? How much for this? And they'll give you a deal. So yeah, I got a couple places.
Nice.
I got one independent store downtown, and it's a pain to find parking downtown, so I rarely go there. But it's super expensive too.
I like that store though in Barrie. That's a nice one. They got a lot of nice stuff in there.
Yeah, it's called BJ's Records and Nostalgia or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's trendy pricing. So like up on his wall, he's got like the old James Bond board games from the 80s, right? And he's got prices of like $100 on each one of them. He's like, some of these trendy pricks from Toronto are going to come here and buy this for $100. So some of the prices are a little expensive. Now, the guy who owned it before him, Big John, that was a wild ride going in there at that point, because he had a whole unfinished basement where he threw all of his bulk records. And you could, what was it, Kevin? A buck a record or something down there?
I was trying to remember it. It was something dirt cheap. And the amazing thing is like, it didn't matter what you found down there. If something slipped by him, like something pricey, and he threw it down there, he still charged you the $1 or whatever it was for it. And I kick myself now because there was so many records that, at the time I was only looking for certain things, but I don't know how many times I flipped past, like, I think Judas Priest's entire back catalog was down there, but at the time nobody was buying heavy metal on vinyl. It was all the older, Beatles, Monkees, older 60s stuff, not metal. And I kick myself now. I wish I could go back in time and pick those all up. But yeah, those are crazy times. I still have stuff in my collection from that basement.
Mm-hmm. I still have somewhere a gift certificate from him for like 17 selections from the basement because I traded some records. So how about take shit from the basement? Sure, fine. Yeah, but never got to use them. So what about you, BigBandy? Must be big stores there.
So where I'm at, I'm fortunate to have a really, really good independent record store called Boo Boo Records. And they were actually written up a few years ago in, it might have been Rolling Stone magazine, like on the top 50 independent record stores in the United States. I have a good friend who works there. It's only maybe 15 minutes from my home, but I don't live in a big city, a big community in California. I'm on the Central Coast. I'm kind of in between LA and San Francisco, kind of a halfway point in between them. But even in my area here, there's quite a few independent record stores, and then the bigger indie stores in LA and San Francisco. But so yeah, I'm real fortunate to have some really quality shops by me.
That's well, yeah, and you dropped some big names last week too, shopping at your big fancy record stores that are famous.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
My eyes had to pop out of my head because we have a huge superstar pop by the chat for a minute here. So
see that.
Big shout out to Ramvox stopping in. Wow, Ramvox on a start to continue live feed.
It's been a long time since that's happened. Crazy.
God damn it. See, you get BigBandy on and
Yep.
wild shit happens.
Yeah.
God damn it. Well, I guess I should show some more records here. What can I do here? What can I do? Did you see that I completely got kicked out of this feed when BigBandy was talking?
No, I did not.
Last run? Yeah, I got completely booted. I lost my ISO cam. I'm going to have to set that up at some point. And yeah, I love my internet here. So I'm just going to have to do this facing this camera.
Well, do you want maybe one of us to cover for you while you figure that out?
No, I'll just blow through this quick. It's
All right.
nothing fancy. Recognize that guy?
That's Steve Miller. Yeah, there you go.
Steve Miller Band.
Nice.
Fly Like an Eagle. I don't know. I take it or leave it.
I
I'm not
like
a
Steve
huge
Miller.
Steve Miller fan or anything. Oh,
I was given the greatest hits at a real young age, so I'm a little bit nostalgic for. I got some history with Steve Miller.
this is in excellent shape on Capitol Records. I don't know where the sleeve ended up. Take the Money and Run, Rockin' Me, You Send Me, Blue Odyssey. Okay. I don't even think I've dropped the needle on that puppy. I'll continue on the M's. Mamas and the Papas.
Yeah, my mom has that.
Major crush on that one. Oof, man. Has there ever been a better looking female singer?
No, they did have two singers. Two female singers.
Yeah, okay, Mama Cass is great in her own way, but God, what's her Nancy Wilson? Is that her name?
What was the daughter? China? Was China the daughter?
China Wilson?
China Wilson?
Sarah should know this.
Yeah. Sarah, who's Mamas and the Papas? And she went on to Wilson Phillips. Who's the mom? Mamas and the Papas. Michelle Rodriguez?
Michelle Wilson?
Michelle Phillips.
Michelle. What?
That's what she said. Michelle Phillips.
Oh, she went on to marry what's his face, right? Wilson Phillips. No. John Phillips, the singer, songwriter. Remember? And they had their daughter.
Yeah.
What's the daughter's name?
China, right?
The other.
China? From Wilson Phillips.
Yeah. Anyways,
hold on for one more day.
I do love the Mamas and the Papas, man. They're singing the way they could intermingle their voices is legendary. It
Great
is really good. And what a band. Harmonies, that's the word I'm thinking. And that, they were all banging each other, having a great time up in Laurel Canyon. God, good times. So one more Mamas and the Papas. And look at that. All right, yeah. Right there. Just a model, I tell you. Mama Cass there. Farewell to the golden era. The Mamas and the Papas. What was John Phillips' daughter's name who was in American Graffiti? Why am I gapping on her name?
I have no idea.
She was in One Day at a Time.
Yeah, she's a real head case.
One Day at a Time. What's her name? It's Michelle, isn't it? Sarah? What's the name of the daughter? So there's the Mamas and the Papas.
What daughter are you talking about?
The daughter, there's the Mamas and the Papas, right?
Yeah.
And the daughter was in American Graffiti.
Carney Wilson.
Oh,
Carney Wilson.
Carney.
Yeah, she,
No, that's not who I'm thinking about either.
the one who's
American
in One Day at a
Graffiti.
Time. Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know.
One Day at a Time. Her name is Oh man, they remade that show.
Oh yeah, I think it's on Netflix. Isn't
Where's
it?
the original? 75 to 84. That's what I want.
Rambock says he's got nothing better to do. I don't know. I've saw some miniatures on his.
Mackenzie Phillips.
Mackenzie Phillips. Thank you.
There you go. My goodness.
I'm still not getting who the Wilson woman was. Nancy Wilson, wasn't it?
Nancy Wilson was the guitar player in Heart.
Okay, that's where I'm getting that from.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. BigBandy's right. God damn it. All right. You're up. BigBandy. What do you got?
Okay, we're going to go back to the 70s again here with one of my all-time favorite bands, a progressive rock band. Any guesses?
What's the letter? Are you gonna give us any?
Starts with a J. I'll give it away, though.
Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull. So this is Songs from the Wood. This is nice. From, you know what year this is from, Kevin? 77.
77.
Yeah.
I don't have that one.
You don't have this one? You need to have this one.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, it's a good record. I don't think there was any radio hits on this. A lot of some of the later stuff I wasn't familiar with until I started digging into their catalog. This is on Chrysalis Records, yeah. But yeah, this is a great record. Velvet Green, The Whistler. Yeah, Songs from the Wood. It's really, really good stuff. And another Tull record, which is kind of where I stopped listening to their stuff right around this time period, this era of their releases. Record called Heavy Horses. This is either 79 or 78 actually. 78. This record came out. You guys familiar with this one at all?
I don't have that one either. No.
No.
Yeah, this one's good. Let me see.
I just picked up Aqualung at the last record show too, and that thing's just fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great
that
record. That's got some deep cuts on it too. Got the inlay here with some lyric sheets, but yeah, some of the standout songs. Journeyman, No Lullaby is a great song. Heavy Horses, One Brown Mouse. It's a good, real good record. This was another one that was given to me by originally by a friend. I had never heard this era of Jethro. I was only kind of familiar with the hits and the radio stuff. But then once I started digging a little deeper, I found out this record and the Songs from the Wood. But like I said, kind of after this time period, when it got into some of their 80s material, I haven't really listened to. But everything up until the late 70s stuff is really good. Like you guys said, Aqualung is a great record. Stand Up is an awesome record too. But yeah, Jethro Tull.
Yeah, Stand Up. That's one that I'm looking for. It's on the want list.
It's a good record.
You got another one to follow that up with?
Yeah, sure. It's not a Jethro Tull record, but it's another. Not a progressive rock band at all, but kind of same time period. This is, I guess you technically call them a glam band, an original glam rock band, by the name of Sweet. You guys familiar with Sweet at all?
It rings a bell, but
Slow Ride?
So,
Is that the
no,
one?
that's Slow Ride is by a band called Foghat. But Sweet I'm sure you guys know the song Ballroom Blitz.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I first heard that song Ballroom Blitz, the first track on the record here. If I can't even point to that, Jesus. It was originally on Wayne's World, and it was a cover by Cassandra's band. So, but Sweet is kind of you'd kind of consider them to be proto-punk rock too, because punk rock took some influence, like bands like the New York Dolls, the Stooges, anything that like the Johnny Thunders type stuff was heavily influenced by Sweet. Sweet was a British band. You probably know the song "Fox on the Run" too. That got some play. I think that was also in the movie. I believe it was in Dazed and Confused. Yeah. But yeah, this record is great too, start to finish. Yeah, it's a lot of high energy. Good stuff. But yeah, more of a kind of a influential band that this is the only record of theirs that I really know and have. But this band went on to like I said, influenced a lot of other bands to come later. But yeah, so if you ever see this record, Destination Boulevard is the name of this record. Check it out.
Cool. Hey, Matt Bandy, there's someone in the chat, Art Pop Monsters, asking about all kinds of records. Do you own any LG records, any Madge, any Brit, any Mother Monster?
No, he's probably rattling off some glam rock stuff here that I am not familiar with.
Isn't Madge Madonna?
Yes.
That's yes.
Yeah, we have Sarah's got a few Madonna records. If you want me to pull them out.
I am in the M's personally, but it's Kevin's turn next. So bring out your Madge, Kevin.
No, that's going to take too much time. Do you want me to do the unboxing now, or do you want me to wait till the end of the show? What do you want me to do?
Oh,
I got records here too, or I can do the unboxing and get that out of the way.
Let's do a couple more records, and we're teasing that Buried on Mars is going to be undressing something very major.
Something I will be whipping something out. Something special.
But we will need to hit.
Yeah. If ask Sarah.
It's those new 5-inch ones that all the trendy hipsters are trading. Yeah.
I don't want to brag, but it's at least 180 grams.
Oh.
And then we lost them. Hilarious. See, folks, we need subscribership to get to that unboxing. So we're going to need at least another 100 subscribers before we hit the unbox. But we'll look for that for sure. Oh, boy. Yeah. That was funny.
It's good timing.
Okay, I'll keep going. Is that all right with you, Big Bandy?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're talking M's. Let me add my here we go. Is my second screen working?
I'm seeing black.
Our feed took a major hit.
Not
only lost Kevin, but everything's working super slow. There we go. Okay, so I'm in the M's now. So here we are with this is the Joni Mitchell album that you got to have. This is it. Blue. All I Want, My Old Man, Little Green, Carrie. Carrie's fantastic. Blue, California, This Flight Tonight. You just sit back and put this entire album on and let your mind float away with the crazy tunings and rhythms that she came up. Is this thing working? The darling of Canada right here.
I didn't know she was Canadian.
Last time I saw Richard. All great stuff. Super talented. Super talented lady for sure. What's that?
I didn't know Joni Mitchell was Canadian.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, of course. How can you be that brilliant, not be Canadian? Oh, wow.
Pretty
Did
bad.
you see that?
Mm-mm. Oof.
My feed is so slow, I can't even direct what's going on. I'm taking a pause for a minute here, letting my feed catch up. But this album is side 2 is in rough shape. It's got major scuffs, but I bet you it plays through this. It must play through this. I've definitely listened to it. Again, I'll throw back to The Last Waltz again. The band's documentary, The Last Waltz, that concert, Joni Mitchell's performance of Coyote is a major highlight for me in that documentary. And watching the band try and catch up with her chord changes throughout the whole thing, they're sweating through the entire performance trying to catch up with what she's doing. But such an amazing tune, Coyote.
When was that movie released? I've never seen that.
My solo cam is like 2 minutes behind the times. I don't know what's going on. What's it look like for you guys? Is the feed okay?
I think you're okay with me now. Looks like Kevin's back.
They're all just looking at me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Matt Bandy, come in and out. I haven't heard anything from Kevin. He's just kind of still. He's kind of still there.
I don't hear anything from Kevin.
Wow. This feed. Gotta love the internet nowadays. It's working great. I think Zoom has canceled anything that's not using Zoom on the internet.
Can you hear me okay, Bill?
Kevin, are you still there, buddy? Am I still here?
I can hear
exist?
you. Can you hear me at all?
Matt Bandy, you look good. You look good to me. Yeah, you look good.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear you. You're a little bit choppy, but
Okay.
I'm gonna let Matt Bandy go again. So
Okay.
I can hear you.
You can hear me all right? Okay.
But you're mostly there.
Okay. I'm going to talk about one record here. So this is a Canadian artist, or Canadian band, I should say. It's a heavy metal band. It plays, again, kind of the new wave of traditional heavy metal or new wave of British heavy metal. But this is a band called Ice War. There's one guy in this band. He recorded everything himself. He did the drums, he did the guitars, bass, and vocals. But yeah, this is a great record here. So if you dig some of that early '80s heavy metal sound, this kind of has more of a punk rock feel to it as well, but really heavily like influenced by Iron Maiden. With those hooks and stuff. But yeah, so this is on split black and blue vinyl. This came out a couple years ago on Shadow Kingdom Records, which is a great heavy metal record label that I believe they're out of Ohio. But yeah, they put out some great stuff. But there's a ton of really good Canadian heavy metal bands right now, and Ice War is one of them. So yeah, if you dig Iron Maiden, that sort of stuff, yeah, I should give this band a listen to.
Sorry, I am back now, I think.
Okay.
I got completely booted off.
Kevin, did you catch any of what I was saying there? I'm not hearing Kevin at all.
Yeah, no mic on, Kevin. I had to kick my second cam off. I don't know if that was eating up too much bandwidth, but that's gone. Can't handle it. I'm gonna go one cam from me from now on. Kevin needs to turn his mic on though.
Hello?
And we'll be able to hear from him. There we go.
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah. So
I
did you
guess-
hear anything what I was saying there, Kevin?
Yeah, Ice War,
Okay,
Iron
cool.
Maiden Lake, and they're from Canada.
That's right.
I got it all.
Cool.
Not me. I was gone.
In fact, I'm going to write it down. It's like I wrote down, what was that? BH, what was his name last week? That was good. Good recommendation.
Which the geez.
What was
Hang
his
on
name?
a second. Yeah, I know. I'm blanking on it.
DH, BH.
No.
Hold on.
It was Joni Mitchell.
God dang it.
I know it's in my wish list here. Let's see.
JD McPherson.
That's
Sorry.
it.
Gosh dang. Yeah.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. His second record is really good too. Let the Good Times Roll. That thing is awesome.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
You know, Bill, you were looking at your records there, and that Joni Mitchell one looked a little rough, but sometimes the records, they don't look too good, and when you play them on, they play fine. They might be just scuff marks or whatever. They don't look nice, but a lot of times it doesn't really affect anything in the groove. So if you ever find a record out in the wild that you're on the fence about quality wise, like if it's got a few scuffs on it and you're thinking, well, but if the price is right, if it's like $1 or $2 or whatever, don't be afraid to pick it up and try it. It might sound like crap, but you're only out $1 or $2, and you can always especially if it's a common one, you can always swap. When you find a better disc, you can swap it with the sleeve or whatever to get yourself a pristine copy.
Yeah, I'm not. Me too. Some with scuffing, I'm more concerned about seeing any deep scratches in the record. Some with the scuffing, I've had brand new records that never been played. First one to open. It's just part of the pressing process. Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, and a lot of times, once you get dust in there, I find that's it. Once you get dust in the grooves, you're going to get all those pops and everything, and you can't even see that. So a lot of times a record looks fine, and then you play it, and it doesn't sound that great, whatever. So it's a bit of a gamble every time you're buying used records.
Yeah, that's why luckily I rely heavily on when buying used stuff from my local shop, and I know that they go over all of their the records before they buy them and inspect them, and I think they clean them as well. So I'm lucky that way.
That's true. Like I said, with my independent store, that might be a little bit expensive. He's not putting crap out either. He's going through them all, and it's all QC'd and well packaged, and everything is good. Yeah, for sure. Hi to Chris Roberts in the chat. Look at all the heavy hitters coming by this stream. God damn it. See, it's all, you put BigBandy on the thumbnail.
Kevin has some pull too.
Not as much.
I don't know about that.
Okay, so I'm going to continue with the M's. It's the first comedy album of this series. What do you guys think?
Steve Martin.
I'm going to say Monty Python.
Yeah, I got 2 copies of that.
Yes, it's not hard to find this album. And I saw it many, many times and never bought it. And finally, I just said, God, I just got to get it because I've seen it so many times at record shows and in crates and in bins. And this one was a particularly nice looking copy. I mean, for a dark cover, it's held up pretty good. Wild and Crazy Guy is on here. Charitable kind of guy. Cat Handcuffs. King Tut, of course, on the back. Is yours gatefold, Kevin?
I believe so.
You know what? I think he's playing a guitar that is like the same guitar I own here.
Oh yeah, I definitely seen that before.
Awesome.
It's funny to me how many comedy records there were from the 1970s, and I come across them all the time with Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, Steve Martin, Red Fox. You just see all these old comedy records, and it's funny to me that like that's those were huge sellers,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you just don't
you
see
only
that
had-
now.
You only had 3 networks, and they were all censored.
There you go.
So if you wanted to hear some blue material,
Yeah, it makes sense.
they were
Have
huge.
you-
I remember my parents said they would have like comedy listening albums or parties in the
Oh, funny.
70s where people would get together and they would bring their comedy albums and they would listen to them.
Yeah, it's a shame, we can't really talk about the cause anymore, but his comedy albums were good. They're funny.
Yeah. He was an excellent he probably still is an excellent storyteller, and that probably worked to his advantage more ways than one.
Yeah, for sure. And Steve Martin, if you haven't read his book, his autobiography, definitely check that out and listen to his audiobook, him reading it. Excellent.
Have you listened to his bluegrass music at all?
Yeah, for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, he is super talented on the banjo. Like he's not only learned the Scruggs way of picking, but he's like figured out his own way of picking beyond the Scruggs way, which is already impossible to do. Only Earl Scruggs can do that, but he found a way to modify it to his own way. So he's not just a comedian plucking on the banjo for fun. He's got it down. Can I do one more M for you guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to do it. Recognize.
I have no idea.
She's a whaler. She's my favorite female whaler.
Like a Hartford whaler?
Melanie. Huh?
Nope.
Oh, no.
No.
Over my head.
Melanie Safka is her full name. I first came across her because she appeared on the Woodstock album. She appeared at Woodstock and sang Beautiful People. And her roots, I guess, is in folk. She covered a lot of Dylan and that sort of stuff. And she got to Woodstock, man. Her mother drove her to Woodstock. Just her and her guitar and her mother in a car. And she ended up stranded down the road because of the lineup of people. And she had to make a phone call, and they came and got her with a helicopter. And she blew them away at Woodstock. She just has a voice. Like I said, she knows how to wail. Like she will go from a very soft melodic tone and then just turn it up to a million, and she'll blow your speakers. Just her and her guitar.
Did she put out many records, or was she around for?
Yeah, she's still around. I mean, her height of popularity was in the late 60s with any heat that came off of Woodstock, but she covered Ruby Tuesday. Her other big hit was Lay Down, Candles in the Rain. Look What They Done to My Song, Ma. Kevin, I've definitely played for you some Melanie at some point.
Okay. I don't remember if you have.
Anyways, check her out on the Woodstock album or the movie. Is she in the movie? Maybe the director's cut. But yeah, I love her, Melanie. All right, Kevin, you wanna try something?
Sure.
Now that we kicked all of our solo cameras out.
Yeah, I guess my camera's gone. So I wanted to show you guys this Sloan album. This is Navy Blues. This came out in the late 90s, the album itself. And this is the first vinyl printing of it that they did just this year for their 20th anniversary, even though it was 21st anniversary. And to promote this album, they went on tour and they performed the album all the way through, straight through. Now, a lot of people in Canada probably know Sloan as a more alternative band, 90s band, but really by the time they came to this Navy Blues album, they became a more I don't know, they almost went through like a Beatles renaissance where they became more of a classic rock sort of band, very heavily Beatles influence on this album. Unfortunately, too, the biggest song on here is what the heck is it? Money City Maniacs, which was featured in a Future Shop commercial and got played quite a bit in Canada, and everybody kind of got sick of that song, including Sloan. This like when they did this album, that was the first time they performed it live in quite a while. But it's a fantastic album. It also kind of like, this is when Sarah and I were first getting together, so it kind of means a little something to both of us. But yeah, this was limited release only on their website, and I wasn't going to get it, but then what the heck, I picked it up. So it comes with a vinyl copy. I got to get through all the goodies here, move them out of the way. So it comes with a vinyl copy of the album itself, which is all the way at the bottom.
It actually comes with the vinyl?
So yeah, this is the vinyl of the album itself, Navy Blues. I can't remember if it's colored or anything. I think it's just, they're all just black. Yeah, it's just black. So that's the album itself. Then you got your demos, which is just a bunch of different, takes in that they did before they put it on the album. So it's kind of like them just working through the song, and that not all the lyrics are completed yet. It's a really good album if you have someone like Sarah in the house, and when they were performing one song, the guy that was the lead for that song. If you don't know anything about this band, they're really like 4 lead singers and performers, and they all take different leads of the different songs. And the one song he was doing while he was framing it, I was putting it together, he's telling the band as they're going through it, he's he's singing like the lyrics or whatever, and then when they get to a certain point, he'd be like, okay, walk up, and then they would go in the walk up on the next groove. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. He's telling the band, like, giving them cues and that. And that really impressed Sarah. She thought that was like, she's like, wow, you're really smart to know all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm just a dummy who knows a 4/4 beat. But yeah, there was that, and then there was outtakes as well. So like different takes for all the songs and that. So it came with three vinyls on there, and there was a single of I can't remember what. There was a single for that of something I can't remember, and then like a single for that of a song that didn't make it on the album. Nice big picture book, all that stuff. It was all limited release just for their website, and it's really crazy book. Just like notes on every single song that they did, how many outtakes they did, just promotional stuff. We went to see them live in this tour at the Key to Bala. It's a really fun place to see a show, and that concert's in here somewhere.
What was the cost on that set?
I think it was $50, which wasn't too bad. I think we had to have to pay a little more for shipping too, because unfortunately it was an American publisher, like a distributor. So they're a Canadian band, but they could only get an American distributor to print it for them. So you had to order it from the States. So we did get nailed a little bit on shipping, but it was a limited release. I think they only made 10,000 of these. I think there's a number on it somewhere, but I mean, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's an album that Sarah and I both adore, and I mean, you got all this extra stuff plus the album itself. Yeah,
so. I was thinking they mustn't have made too much money pumping that one out.
I don't think they did. But yeah, like we even when we went to see them on the show, we were expecting to see copies of this there, because they would sell this, but they do sell a lot of their vinyl albums at the show, but they didn't even have this there. So
Well, I've heard you talking for a long time about Sloan, and I can never in my mind do I think that anything good came with Sloan, but you're convincing me. I'll have to try some.
Give Navy Blues a try, and I think you will enjoy it. I think you'll like it. I'm not a fan of the. It's really only one album that I'm not a fan of. Smeared, I think, was their first one. Sarah, is that right? Smeared. She's not even listening to me.
Yeah.
Was Smeared Sloan's first album?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the
Wait.
that's
There was an EP that was released before
Okay.
that called Peppermint.
okay. Smeared was their first album that they kind of became known. They were known as like an alternative band, and that's where their popularity started. And they gradually became more of a, I'd say like a rock band, like the Beatles.
This is all like mid '90s stuff.
Yeah, mid '90s, and then they went on to. I mean, they still make music now, but this is really like where they took the turn and they became more of a rock band. So highly recommend them, and definitely give Navy Blues a try.
Yeah, did they get much play outside of Canada? Because until I'd seen them in some of your pickup videos and heard you talk about them, I'd never heard of them before.
I'm pretty sure they have. I know Grey Ghost on geez, I talk about him every week and I can't remember the name of the podcast now. RF Gen, the RF Gen podcast. Sean, he knows them. He's a big fan of them. He asks me questions about them all the time. So I'm sure that they do get play down there, but they're much bigger here in Canada.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat asks if you have any Frank Sinatra records.
I don't believe I do. I have. I do. I should have brought my Elvis records out.
Yeah,
keep the trend going. See if anyone wants to buy those off me. But no, I don't think I have any Sinatra. I might have a Dean Martin.
I did show off my Sinatra. Was it last episode? So you have to check that out. First episode, and it went in the trash. One of them. So.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yep.
I got some Engelbert Humperdinck. I really enjoy those. Not ironically, I do enjoy it.
All right. Is it Matt Bandy's turn?
Is it my turn?
Sure.
So I've got a couple records by this band here. I've referenced them quite a few times already today, but well-known band called Iron Maiden.
I've heard of them.
I've heard of them, yeah. So this record here is called Made in Japan. This is actually a live record. I believe this came out either right before Killers, their second album, or right after Killers, which is their second album. And at this time period, they had a different lead singer by the name of Paul Di'Anno, which is this guy here in the center before he was replaced by Bruce Dickinson. It has 5 tracks on it, mostly from their first album, and maybe 1 or 2 from the Killers, their second LP. But yeah, this is as far as live recordings go, this is really, really good. So yeah.
That's an official release, right?
Yeah, these are all original pressings too of these. So this is the first, probably arguably Iron Maiden's most famous record. Not my favorite of theirs, but the first record to feature Bruce Dickinson on vocals, and that is Number of the Beast.
I have it.
Yeah. This is kind of essential. It just came out in 1982. Yeah, I picked this up in Chicago.
Is that a reissue or is that an original?
No, these are all original pressings.
Okay.
Yeah. And then continuing with these are Maiden's second album with Bruce Dickinson, which is probably my favorite my favorite Iron Maiden record is Killers, their second record. But this is probably my favorite of the Bruce Dickinson era. Is Peace of Mind, which is from 1983. This one has Where Eagles Dare, Die With Your Boots On, and The Trooper are probably the two most famous songs to come out of this one. And you got them sitting around a medieval feast here. And on the back here, you got a little Brucey and some armor, I guess. But what I always thought was cool about this record is you got the brain on a platter on the plate there. Yeah, it's a great record.
Yeah, that's my favorite Maiden album, personally.
Nice, yeah. And then
I don't got any Maiden.
No
so
Maiden.
What are you gonna do? You gotta have Matt Bandy on for that.
I got one more for you here. And this is the album to immediately follow that one, called Power Slave.
That's my second favorite.
This is a good one too. But talking about artwork here, I love the artwork to this record here. They got Eddie as the giant pharaoh, and Maiden was kind of known for putting little Easter eggs in their album artwork. And sometimes they'll reference some of their other albums. Sometimes they'll put little pop culture references. But I believe on this one there might be a.
I remember there was something in the hieroglyphics, I think.
Yeah, there's the what no Guinness. I don't know if that's a British thing down there. If you can see that.
Yeah, Guinness is British beer.
Yeah, and some other little things here. But yeah, this is a great record. Well, yeah, this was the artwork on this. I always thought was awesome, and then inside you just got another picture of the band and the lyrics here. Yeah, that time period of Iron Maiden with those three Bruce Dickinson albums. That's probably my favorite as far as the Dickinson era.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all classic.
Yeah.
Mm. Cool stuff.
Thank you.
Good stuff. I give it one big thumb up. Some Don McLean there. American Pie. Look at that cover. There's no ring wear on that puppy. It looks really good. So yeah, you gotta have this one in your collection, don't you?
Not since he became a regular Fox News contributor.
Is that true?
Yeah, he's on there all the time, sucking up the Tucker Carlson. Yeah, go look him up on YouTube. Don McLean. Yeah, this breaks my heart every time. And he's an expert because he wrote American Pie, so he knows everything there is.
He's a real American.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a bit of scuff on there. I don't know. This is a reissue. Anyways, yeah, it's got
What's the length of that track?
About 6 minutes, maybe.
Because I thought there was a longer, like, because the radio edit was definitely shorter than what was on the album, I believe.
It's 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's about 7.5 minutes too long.
I can almost get through it on the guitar, and then I lose it.
Bandy slipping in the subtle reviews.
That's good. That's what this is about. So continuing on with the M's.
Okay, well, Bob Marley.
Well, Bob Marley. And I don't like reggae, so this must just be in the collection out of respect. Not a big reggae fan myself.
Yeah, reggae is a weird genre. It definitely went through different phases of what reggae was, or sound-wise too. You got the early, obviously started in the late '60s with ska music, and then it kind of morphed into rocksteady, which had a much slower tempo than the ska stuff, and then you kind of got into that like 69, 70, 71, that reggae music, that time period. That music is excellent, but that's completely different from a few years after that, when you get more of the um, like Rastafari, the more like dub stuff. So there's like a
Yeah.
small, and
Yeah.
I can't stand that stuff, but I love that time, that small window from 1969 to 1971 of Jamaican reggae music is really good.
Yeah, when people, real artists, can mix in reggae in their own music, have a little sprinkle of it in there, like Rush would do. It's just I like that. But
Even that record you brought up, the Paul Simon, that first track, the daughter, what was the name of? But that's got a great reggae. That's essentially a reggae track.
That was John Sebastian, wasn't it? The Sitting in Limbo.
The Paul Simon record that you had on the first, the Mother and Daughter, I think is the name of the Mother and Daughter Reunion.
Right, because that John Sebastian one had that Sitting in Limbo.
Oh yeah, the Jimmy Cliff song, or the Jimmy Cliff wrote that. Yeah,
there's some cool artwork in this.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. What record is that?
Confrontation.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that one.
Chant Down Babylon, Buffalo Soldier.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So there you go. That's it for the Marley stuff for me. Probably brings an end to the M's for me. No, more M's, but if Kevin wants to go next, we can let Kevin go.
Sure.
Whenever Buried on Mars starts talking, we get like five new subs immediately.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
it is pretty crazy. So
well, because Matt Bandy is always introducing people to bands and stuff, I wanted to see if he knows anything about St. Paul and the Broken Bones. Have you ever heard of this band?
I have, yeah. That's on Daptone, I believe. Was that a Daptone release?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It says 30 taggers here.
Okay, yeah, I do know that band.
You just got bandied.
I dig that band. Yeah, that kind of that retro 60s soul sound. That's a good band.
Fantastic. Yes. I don't know how I stumbled upon these guys, but I was so glad when I did. And this is Half the City, and it's a fantastic listen. Yeah, if you see it, pick it up. Bill, I'm 100% sure that you would totally dig this stuff. Well, check them out on YouTube. All their big stuff is there on YouTube. So,
what like genre is it?
It's kind of, it's like a throwback band. It's hard to describe.
It's like upbeat 60s R&B.
Yeah, like it's like sort of Motown, but it's white guys doing Motown. So
yeah, like a blue-eyed soul.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul and the Broken Bones, and it's ST period. If you look up SAINT, you'll stumble on something completely different.
Yeah, there was a big explosion of that retro soul sound a couple of years ago with Daptone Records out of New York City, putting out a bunch of great records with some younger bands, and then more like obscure people that have been around for a long time that just never made it big. And Charles Bradley passed away a few years ago. He got to start as a James Brown impersonator, and they just discovered this guy, and he put out these great, amazing records. They kind of have a backing band called the Dap Kings, who were kind of similar to like what Booker T and the MGs were to Stax Records, and that band is super tight, and they played on a lot of those records that they were putting out, and Yeah, Charles Bradley's one, Sharon Jones, who and another one who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. Just amazing, amazing stuff. I first saw Sharon Jones on. She was on Conan O'Brien a couple times, and I think Conan was a big fan of hers. But that's another one to check out.
Yeah, I tried to impress Matt Bandy, pulling this out, and instead,
I'm glad you know that because that's a not many people know that one.
Totally obliterates me with references to 12 other bands I've never heard of. I tried my best to out Bandy the Bandy. I'll never do it again. I learned my lesson.
No, that's a great record.
Bill, you would like this singer too. This is the lead singer, and you can see why they're not famous or popular because he looks like me. So nobody wants to see that on television. But that guy, he like brings it, like just wails right into that microphone, and it's an incredible thing to see, and it's so nice that kind of music is still around.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to go see them live sometime because that they would just put on an amazing show. If they can capture that onto vinyl, I can't imagine their live show not being anything but great. All right, you want me to keep going? More stuff?
Bring up another album Bandy can do another 30 minutes on.
Pretty sure I can. Well, I just want, this is the very last record I bought. I haven't bought very much since this whole COVID thing has started. But the last record I picked up was Huey Lewis and the News. This is almost posthumous. It's called Weather. It's an EP. It only has 7 songs on it, and the reason why it only has 7 songs on it is because that is all Huey could get out of himself before he had to hang it up. He's got some disease that's affecting his vocal cords. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but he's losing his ability to sing. It's really unfortunate. So this is most likely the last album that we'll ever get from Huey Lewis and the News. Even if you're not a fan, this is like a very little more somber, like this, because it's like the last kind of thing. There's still some fun on there, but it's a really good album.
Does he have that, like the vocal fry that affects a lot of the bluegrass singers?
I didn't notice that. He was still sounding like Huey, So I don't know. It's like a digital disease. It's either there or it's not. I don't know. But yeah, he definitely sounds older, But so I don't know if he'll be able to rest up and crank out another 7 in 5 years from now or something like that. But it's really unfortunate that happens. But it's like it's something weird about albums like this. Like even B.B. King's last album was like this. There's something uplifting about it, even though there's like this sad undertone. There's something uplifting about like just listening to a guy still trying to do it. Like he's doing something that he loves. Just doesn't, not that he doesn't care, but it's like I'm still going to do this, even though this might be the last time I'm able to do it. So.
It was kind of the same way with those. If you ever listened to those Johnny Cash, the American recordings, that's. I mean, he was essentially dying when that was going on, and he's like, I got to be in the studio or else I'm done. Well, but those were so good.
I think the last one he sang with a broken jaw.
Oh wow!
He had they could fix his jaw, but if they did, he would be in so much pain that they would have to give him, what's the thing, to painkillers. Mm-hmm. And he struggled with addiction for so long that he knew that he would not be able to take the painkillers. So he's just like, you know what, if it's going to screw me up, I'm just going to continue to sing with this broken jaw. And
I didn't know. Yeah, those are
rock and roll.
That's some of my.
You just say, I'm gonna sing with a broken jaw.
Damn. Yeah, those records are awesome.
He didn't have much gas in the tank after he lost June, so I could see him not bothering to get that fixed. Same with George Harrison's last album, Brainwashed. Another good one.
That's another great one too. Yeah. Do you want me to keep going, or?
Of course, sure.
I just want to show. I want to impress Matt Bandy with my Judas Priest live
Oh, nice.
double live album. This one is fans of the Priest are mixed on this one. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. It came out in the 80s.
What era is that?
This is like 1985.
85, okay.
Sorry, my monitor keeps going to sleep. It thinks I'm not doing anything. So yeah, it came out in 85. Got this nice big gatefold.
Nice.
With the cheesy guys floating in midair there. Craziness. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It's got a lot of they're more like in the 80s they were doing their more poppy kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You got Heading Out in the Highway, Love Bites, Private Property, Living After Midnight, Parental Guidance, So it's some more poppy stuff, but I don't know. It's got a real, to me, it's got a little bit more of a rock edge to it, because it's live,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much overdubbing they did. I know in the one they did before, the one from Japan, live in Japan, is notoriously overdubbed. I think they went and redid the entire album. I'm not sure if any of it is live, but this one has a nice live feel to it. And I didn't pay that much for it. It's a double live, and I was wearing the Judas Priest shirt, and I thought I better pull out some Judas Priest for Matt Bandy.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Bandy approves. Say hi to Steven Eider in the chat if he's still around. He's still looking for cassettes.
I did notice that, and I might have something. I know it's not a we're talking vinyl records, but I remembered his comment last week, and I did bring something.
Okay.
If I'm allowed to show it.
You're on stage.
Okay.
You're allowed to show cassettes. You're just not allowed to play cassettes.
All right. Okay. So this is for you, Steven Eider, and I'm going to kind of defend cassettes here a little bit because I know I've talked to Kevin about this a little bit before, and he's right in the fact that cassettes were more of a would you say accessibility over function? Was that what
convenience?
Convenience over function. But within the last couple of years, there's definitely been a resurgence in cassettes, especially with small indie labels and certain micro genres, subgenres of music where these are put out and bought. And I do occasionally buy cassettes. This is Book of Skelos, which is a synth band. So this is one person. It's technically it's called Dungeon Synth. So this is, without getting too deep into the weeds on what this is. So it's So it's very minimalist. It's high fantasy, almost neoclassical sounding, as far as the dungeon synth as a genre of music. But
is it pastoral?
It can be some, yes, yeah.
Word of the week.
But yeah, it's all instrumental stuff. But this release here looks almost, if you look at it, has a very like it would play on the old Commodore or some
Fisher
old
Price
computer game. Yeah, that too. So this and you got the little booklet here with so this sounds like it could be a soundtrack to an old computer game, essentially. So that's a lot of this music kind of takes inspiration from that. It's heavily high fantasy themed stuff, but the reason why these are put out on cassette is a lot of times an artist doing this music, it's him or her or whoever's doing it, they're putting them out themselves. A lot of times they'll dub these themselves and release them in real small batches. But but it's the cheapest way for them to have a physical format of their music out. And that's what I do like about cassettes. I typically don't listen to the cassette itself, but I will listen to. They will come with an MP3 rip of the record or the album. But yeah, so this is kind of my defense of cassettes. It's a cheap format. Like, so this year, if there was like a CD version of this, it would be a little bit pricier than the cassette version, and I would end up just listening to the MP3 format of this anyway. And I don't mind the sound of this on cassette. Aesthetically, this is already a lo-fi sound as a whole, as a genre. This is kind of a low fidelity sounding art. So yeah, this is my defense of cassettes, and a little something for Steve and Eider. So yeah, Book of Skelos. You can check them out on bandcamp.com if you want to hear what this sounds like.
Well, Steven's already left. He's at the Walmart right now.
Yeah.
So
looking at Transformers.
All right, I got to burn through a couple of these before we get to Kevin's big unboxing. Or this series is going to be years in the completion. So we're still in the M's, and this is a compilation album. I got suckered into getting this just because it's got some Lawrence on the cover there. #1 movie in my book. So a bunch of soundtracks here, I take it, with Lawrence of Arabia on the title track. So I guess that's why I have this. I don't think there's anything exciting about it. I think I could probably even ditch this now that I look at it. Yeah, the vinyl's in rough condition. There's nothing really exciting about this. Some Like It Hot, West Side Story, Magnificent Seven, of course, a great soundtrack. But,
it's a compilation of different.
Yeah, it's a compilation.
Movies. I see.
Compo in Quebec printed this. It might be in mono, but I actually have another Lawrence of Arabia album, so I might be able to turf this and free up some space on the shelf. What do you guys think? Turfable?
Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in it, honestly.
Is that Lawrence of Arabia known for its score?
Yeah, it's got a nice one,
Yeah,
memorable.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar
If it was the Lawrence of Arabia soundtrack, I would keep it. But if it sounds like it's just a compilation of different musicals from the 60s. So
yeah, it's only got 2 minutes of Orance.
Is it the actual originals or is it covers? Because that was a big thing too. Back in the day, where they would cover famous.
Yeah, this just could be a random orchestra doing it.
Yeah, like you would get the Philharmonic Orchestra would do Beatles covers, and it would just be elevator music, really.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you're absolutely right. 12 of the great musical moments in theatrical history, performed by stars of unquestioned stature.
There you go, studio musician. He was lying around at MCA back in the day, and throw him in there.
It is a mono version, but yeah, gone.
There we go.
Still in the M's. Some Meatloaf. I guess everyone's got this, right? There's nothing to see here.
You got it on CD.
I love that cover art too.
That's right. No gatefold here. Just it's got some lyrics happening. Everyone remembers Meatloaf's season on The Apprentice, right? That was one of the best seasons.
Oh, that was the only season I watched.
What comes before M?
L.
Love and Spoonful for anybody?
Mhm.
Yeah. Daydream. There she is. Jug band music. Bald-headed Lena. Yeah. The Spoonful. Off of Kama Sutra.
Oh,
Is that
And,
doodling there? Is that on the? Like, is that part of the record, or like I see like the O's are filled in with red?
on the back.
Did somebody do that, or is that?
someone did that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's someone.
Arcade.
Why not?
That's
Yeah,
super
RK, that bastard.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So that's a good one to have. There's lots of fun music on there. Love and Spoonful. Who is the personnel for Love and Spoonful?
Don't know.
Hmm.
I can't even. I'm trying to think of a song they did. Is it Something Good? Was that them? I'm Into Something Good.
Was that them or the Turtles?
Turtles. Okay, maybe that was the Turtles.
I don't think that was the Turtles.
Naked Gun. I'm Into Something Good.
All of their songs are familiar. They're all like radio hits. You just probably don't know them from the title, but
Herman's Hermit.
Oh,
they're big time on the radio. We're still in the L's. Another Canadian.
Lightfoot.
Look at the hair on that guy. That's a good looking man right there. Put him on my shoulders. How's that?
Carbon copy.
There he is. Good old Gordo. And this one's called Gord's Gold. This is off of Warner's in 75. Mm-hmm.
He's been doing the social media posts lately with just him on the acoustic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did a few of them at least.
Oh, maybe I did see one of those pop up. Sun Reprise Records. This is a double. I guess this is like greatest hits. 75. What else we got in here? Yep. They're in good shape. They're looking good. Gonna open up the gate. Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that on camera. Album 1 was recorded in 75 at Eastern Sound in Toronto. Mm-hmm. Canadian Railroad Trilogy. Yeah. A lot of songs on there. So why not get another Gordon Lightfoot record? Look at those Canadian boys right there. Go from Iron Maiden to some Lightfoot.
Get everything here.
Yeah. Sea of Tranquility, Ghosts of Cape Horn, Dream Street Rose, On the High Seas, If You Need Me. Produced by Gordon Lightfoot. This one's called Dream Street Rose right there. This is 79. And what if you go with an earlier Gordon Lightfoot? The Way I Feel. It's got Walls on it. If You Got It, Softly, Crossroads. Look, he's young there.
Clean shaven.
Yeah. On United Records. This record produced by John Cord, Robert Markle, while perhaps Canada's youngest important painter, is also undoubtedly the most controversial. His work is already presented in most of Canada's art museums. I don't know why he's talking about that guy. Okay. And finally, it's not in finally. There's still another Lightfoot after this. I don't know why there's so much Gordon Lightfoot. Look at that. Stately. He's stately right there. Endless wire.
They sold a bunch in Canada, so they're fairly easy to find.
Oh, yeah. Geez, I bet. This one credits the musicians of Local 149 Toronto. So you don't see that every day.
Is that a musicians union?
Apparently. That was Endless Wire. And this will be it for the Gordo. That's probably his famous song, right?
Thinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, that's the biggest one, I think.
You think? This would have charted higher, wouldn't it?
It's the one I think of when I hear Gordon Lightfoot.
That's because Seinfeld referenced it.
I don't think so.
He's got his 12 string. And we'll just take a look at that sucker. This one's in good shape. It's got some dirt in the grooves. It's like worn in. It's like the needle pressed the dirt in there. Anyway, so there's some Gordon Lightfoot to end the L's for my contribution of today's live stream. Oh, you know what? Let me just finish the L's, and then this will be it. I'm done with L's. Going back to some old country.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's good stuff.
That's a good one. Loretta Lynn's greatest hits. Yeah. This is on Decca. What else can we say about this? Long play.
Your boy Jack White really likes her.
That's right. He's worked with her, right? He's recorded her at Third Man.
I actually got that album that she did with him.
Really?
I found it in Toronto. I think they had it mispriced because it only had a limited print and it's hard to find now. And I think it was, I don't know. I had it like, I don't know, I guess it was sitting there for a while. So I caught them slipping a little bit.
Yeah, this is from 68. It's pressed in Quebec at Compo Records.
It looks good from here.
It's worn, but I'm just wondering if it's mono or not. It doesn't. Sometimes it's very hard to figure that out. Stereo. It says it right on the corner. That's it for the L's.
You need to put a slip in those records.
I got to get a whole bunch of slips.
Just buy them from Amazon. They're not that expensive.
That's a good idea.
Protect your records.
Yeah, that's so stupid. I never thought of Amazon for record supplies.
Yeah.
I guess they got poly there too, right?
Yep.
Because the last bunch of poly I bought from my little record store is like just tiny bit too small. So like all the records are like, me when I was overweight, the shirts would be just extremely tight. So trying to squeeze the vinyl in and forget it if it's triple record, it ain't getting in there. So the poly sleeves on Amazon are good.
Yeah, I could send you a link to the ones I buy because they're in my it actually comes up once in a while. Hey, do you want to buy this again? Do you need some more of these? Amazon will remind you if you in case you run out.
All right, cool. Matt Bandy, do you have anything else you want to go to?
Yeah, let me show you one more record.
All right. Up next, though, we got the big Buried on
reveal
unboxing. So get the subscribership going, guys. Hit the sub button.
So this record here had been on my want list for a long time, and I ended up getting this 2 years ago at the records. It may have been, I don't know if it was 2 years ago, a year ago. Anyway, at the record store day on was it Christmas? No, Black Friday. Okay. So this was the only time that I've ever waited for anything in line as far as records. I got to my record shop at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and there was two guys ahead of me in line who were waiting there before. But the price of this record before it was repressed was upwards of $100 and hard to find. It came out in like the early mid 90s at a time where music just wasn't, especially with modern bands, wasn't being pressed on vinyl. And that is a record by a band from New York City called Typo Negative. Bloody Kisses is the name of this record. This is one of my all-time favorite records, which is kind of funny because although I do like this band, some of their other stuff is okay to me, but this record here is amazing, and it had been out of print for years, and then I saw that Roadrunner Records was doing a repress for Record Store Day only, and that was the only time you could get it, and that was the reason that I waited out in the cold for this record. And this guy is like a tri-fold here. It's huge. It's a double LP. But are you guys familiar with this band at all? Typo Negative?
I know that Matt Bandy just slipped in a scary record there right before the end.
It's not too
very
scary. No, it's not. It's they're like a goth rock band, and I hate to call them that because it's they're a metal band that has some gothic influences, but God, this record is so good.
That came out in the early 90s, right?
Yeah, this was like, what year did this come out? I'm guessing like 94, 95 maybe. But this record is it's so good. So
you're saying, was that the first time it was reissued?
It was, yeah. This record had been out of print for years.
Yeah,
and it was pricey, and I would never pay that.
Yeah, any album that was released in the early 90s without a reissue is generally going to be rare because CDs had already taken over, and they were printing out a limited amount for the people who were still holding on to their vinyl records back then. So if it hadn't had a reissue, it's generally going to be expensive from that era.
Yeah, but this is like one of the like how you call an album, and it doesn't have. I think there was one single off of this, but this thing kind of runs together. Black Number One is probably their most famous track off of this. They do a cover of Summer Breeze on this by the band Seals and Crofts. Yeah. That got a little play too, but yeah, this record is the highlight of this band's catalog, and this is one of my favorite records, and it's kind of a testament to the record because I'm not a huge fan of this band, but I absolutely love this record. So it's not scary.
It's scary. It's very scary.
Contrary to what Kevin says, it is not scary. It's very somber, melancholy. There's some heavy riffs, but it's all clean singing, clean vocals, no extreme harsh vocals. So yeah, give this record a try. Bloody Kisses by Typo Negative. It's not scary. Not scary.
They do a cover of Black Sabbath on the tribute album, Black Sabbath tribute album, and I shit my pants every time.
Come on, that's actually that's a bonus track on this as well.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. But on I forget. I think it was one of their other records called October Rest. They do a cover of Cinnamon Girl by Neil Young.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
It's not the greatest. It's very doesn't sound like the original at all. But yeah. So
how much did they get you for on Record Store Day for that?
This was the only record that I bought that day, and it was, I don't know, it was probably $35, I think, US, maybe a little more.
That's American, so $50.
Yeah,
Canadian.
Still, I can only imagine what our stores would have marked that up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the,
By the way,
lead singer,
happy record store day that just passed.
oh, yeah.
That didn't.
I was just going to say the lead singer passed away not too long ago.
Peter Steele, he had some heart issues that he dealt with, and yeah, that's unfortunate. He was an interesting guy, really interesting guy, funny guy too.
Yeah, he was always on those rockumentaries and stuff, talking about Black Sabbath or whatever the older bands, and he was always interesting.
A lot of even there, like some of the records, there's a lot of satire and kind of humor that I think a lot of people didn't really perceive as humor, but yeah, that's check that record out. It's good.
Oh, I can't hear Bill.
Bill dropped out.
Oh, I turned my microphone off. It's fun to do that. Yeah, it's fun. I had lots of farts and burps to do. So, yep. There you go. Okay, well, Bandy with the big guns at the end. Nice work. That's definitely worth hitting the subscribe button if you're watching. Just saying. So,
And if you're not subscribed, it's criminal.
It is.
It's criminal. All right, Kev.
Okay. Well, here we go.
He's talked about this. He's got an unboxing.
Oh, it is really heavy
incredible.
Too. Let me grab it here.
Like I said, Buried on Mars likes to spend the dollars. So, oh my God, look at this
still in the box.
It is still in the Amazon packaging. Angry Canadian Decepticon style.
You mean a fan didn't donate that to you?
I am shocked. Joe probably has this already. But for those of you who don't and would just like to see it, so this band, Matt Bandy will probably guess it before I'm finished, but this band re-released all their original albums, their 4 first albums, not too long ago in these big box sets, and they were always really pricey, like very expensive, like $250 here anyways. So I put the one, I knowing that I would never buy all of them, I put the one that meant the most to me on my Amazon wish list, and I said, if it ever drops below $100, I'm going to grab it. Now it started dropping in price at one period of time and kept going lower and lower. It got down to $113, and I almost bought it. I said, nope. I said I was going to wait till after it gets under $100. And then one day I checked my list and it was $90. So I grabbed it. Got any guesses what it is, Matt Bandy?
This is a single record?
Well, it's a box set of a single record of a studio album. There's like a bunch of extras in that on it.
When did they reissue these?
Just within the last couple of years.
Rock and roll band?
The genre is heavy metal.
Heavy metal. Okay, I know Iron Maiden and Judas Priest both. They had a bunch of reissues.
Yeah, no, this is a box set with a bunch of extras.
Oh,
and everything.
as I guarantee, it's Motorhead.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No idea.
No. Okay. So a lot of people would say that the album that came out previous to this one is their best, but this is when I first heard them. This was the first album that I had heard from them. Oh my goodness, beast! And when it showed up, my mom was here. My mom was visiting, so it got thrown into the back room, and then it became a piece of furniture. And then Sarah's like, "What is this thing? Are you going to ever get this out of here?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So I put it in this room, and then it sat here for a couple of months. It was all for this moment. So, wow, goodness. Oh, this thing's so heavy. Am I still there? I hear beeps.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, beeps.
Throw that out of the way.
At least the virus has died off it now by now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's long gone. This is definitely I think last October, this showed up.
It's been sitting there for almost a year.
Well, 6 months or so. I gotta open this thing. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But I kind of forgot about it for a little while. So, all right.
Is that box part of the deal, or is that just a shipping?
No,
box?
I think it's the box that they shipped to Amazon, and then Amazon shipped it in this box. Ooh, this is nice. Nice looking set here.
What's it smell like?
It smells like set. All right. So we got it all in this foam here. That Bandy's going to kick himself for not guessing this.
Why can't we see it?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Oh, my God, it's so heavy. Oh, geez. Look at this nice box it was in. Look at that. Wow.
That is a beauty box.
So they took up this whole section. They put this nice foam in there. All right, here we go. You ready? No last minute guesses. Matt?
Any other hints? Any other hints?
It's a metal band. Starts with M. From the 80s. Reissued all their albums into these big, huge sets. Their first 4.
Oh, Metallica.
There you go. So
Okay.
I got myself Injustice
Nice.
for All, which is my personal favorite.
That's a great. Yeah, I'll take that over Master any day.
Even though it's like it doesn't have the best mix, you can't hear any bass. I just love all the tunes.
Yeah, that's
so
a
this
great.
thing came with there's 11 CDs in here.
Oh my God.
Six LPs, 4 DVDs, and so much more.
What besides the album? What are the other tracks that it includes?
We're going to find out
Okay.
because I have no idea. I know it's because I do have a CD version of Master of Puppets that was like a 3-disc version that had most of the extras on it. So I believe there's some live shows on here.
Yeah.
From the time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to open this thing right up.
That thing got under $100.
Yeah, it was 90 something.
How many CDs are in that?
11 CDs,
God.
6 LPs, and 4 DVDs.
Wow.
All right.
Jesus.
What was the original price point on that?
It was like between 200 and 250.
Wow.
Each of them came out like that. Yeah,
Did they
Amazon, put stuff in your wish list and wait, and stuff will go down in price.
Did they do anything with the mix on that?
No, unfortunately not. That would have been fantastic.
I know there's unofficial mixes of that record.
Yeah, and they sound better. So you got some badges in here.
Oh, nice.
That's the back side of some other badge. A pass, all area pass, like you went to the show.
Oh.
Digital. This is where you get your digital stuff. Things on the back. I'm not gonna. Okay, so here's the LP album itself, which I already have, but now I guess I got 2 copies of it. And this was a very long album, so it's a couple of discs, and I think there's a digital thing code in there for that digitally as well. Got yourself a picture disc of 1.
Nice.
Wow.
What's on here? 1 is on one side, and Seek and Destroy Live. It's on side 2. Metallica live at Seattle, 1989. And that's a big. Got the gatefold in there. I hope the subscribers are going through the roof right now.
Yeah, it's just ticking away.
Yeah. Let's see. Just black vinyl. Sorry. Very disappointing.
I got stuff on my wish list and it's not gone down in price.
You know, it's been pretty dry lately. Like I haven't bought anything in a long time. This was a surprise. This and maybe in the next show I'll show you the other thing I got a long time ago. Well, a couple of Christmases ago. I guess this is like you can put it in a record poster, I guess.
I love all that pus head artwork is great.
Yeah. My monitor keeps falling asleep. Thinks I'm not doing anything. Doing lots here. Little book here. Oh, this is a duotang. For you Canadians that know what a duotang is. I don't know what you Americans call this.
Do a
What is
tang.
this?
I do that sometimes.
Yeah. All right. So this is like I'm in the band, and this is my sheet music here. All the lyrics written
Wow.
by Hetfield. He always printed in the large uppercase. So this is like a copy of Hetfield's lyrics in here, the doodles and everything.
It's cool.
Well, speaking of lyrics, if you're interested, some Dylan lyrics just went up for sale. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
For the times they are changing, handwritten lyrics. What do you think the price is?
Is it an open auction?
It's not an auction. They just want this price.
Oh, I imagine it's. I would guess $1 million.
It's insane. It's 2.2.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That song is like iconic. You're getting a piece of like, and there's insane collectors out there. We know a few of them.
Who is selling that?
I forget which specialty house it is, but they deal in that kind of
Is it
paper
his
stuff.
from his estate, or is it somebody else that has it?
Oh, it's someone else, not him.
A big coffee table book in here. It's hard to show on camera. Not set up for this properly at all, but that's craziness. And then there's just a ton of CDs in here. So you got the album itself.
Just CD sleeves.
Yeah, it's like the cardboard ones.
Okay.
A little gatefold in there. Then the album's in a sleeve itself.
Oh,
So it's like a vinyl. Like a mini vinyl. Another digital code or something. Oh, the book, like what you would have in the front of your CD. Interviews.
ugh.
Yeah,
Love listening to Lars.
Riffs, jams, and demos. Really, what I'm here for is the live shows. So you got a few. Got Hammersmith, Long Beach. If the recordings are good, there was a lot of fans that sent them in recordings and that too. Camcorders for all, so I can't imagine this one's very good quality.
Did they send the cops after the fans that sent in the recordings?
I don't think so. No, I guess not. Another live show, just tons of stuff. Rough mixes from the vaults. Live at the Troubadour. That's a infamous one.
Metallica was my very first major concert experience.
That would have been a fun one. For
Them and Faith No More and Guns N' Roses were a triple.
Oh, nice.
bill. That was the year he got burnt up by the pyro.
yeah.
That would have been around that. Was that before the Black Album or right after it?
They were
That was
promoting
during.
it, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, Bill, you were in your 30s when that was going on?
Ah,
Yeah.
ah.
That's it. That's all that's in here for $90. I think that's
For $90, that's a lot of music.
yeah.
you get.
I didn't think it was
That's
too
a
bad.
pretty good deal.
Yeah. You know, you make me doubt myself. I'm gonna have to go check my Amazon thing. I'm pretty sure it was $90. I waited till after it dropped.
That is so much material for $90. Like
$90
especially
Canadian too, yeah.
Yeah.
me as a Dylan buyer for new Bob records, if he puts out a triple, that's already in the 90s, just 3 LPs. So you did good on that one.
Oh, thanks.
Are you going to keep that box it came in too that fit it perfectly?
I still have the one. We got a similar set for Led Zeppelin. The song remains the same. And that was $90 as well, and it was pretty much a big set like that. Not as many CDs in it though, but yeah, I don't know. Keep them for some reason. They're so nicely put together, and they're sturdy boxes too. So kind of hard to just throw those away.
I keep a lot of the mailer boxes for if I ever sell stuff on Discogs, or it's good to keep if you want to sell stuff.
Yeah. You know, if at some point somebody needs to sell that, then they got a box they could ship it in. So,
Wow.
yeah. I got a lot of
Good
listening
stuff.
to do now. That's good. That was fun.
So there it is. Wow, we pushed the record on the live stream. We're past 2 hours now, and we're past.
The more people you get, the longer it's going to take.
And past your bedtime by a shocking amount of time.
Yeah, I only got an hour left to game.
Well, geez, what more needs to be said that hasn't been said? To summarize, we had the great Matt Bandy on, the All-Star Buried on Mars, showing off some excellent titles in their collection. So thanks, guys, so much for appearing on the vinyl collection, which is just me going through my records to see what I got. So it's nice that you guys are peppering in the goods with my junk, with my yard sale stuff.
Well, thanks for having me on, Bill. And I just want to say before you shut down the stream, it's been great having all this extra content and everything. Last week, I think you were in my ears all week. And I got to say that He-Man picture disc was the highlight of the week. And then just to have Joe shut you down on STC Pod, that was so much fun. That was the moment of the week. Like, you weren't even finished describing that thing. It's like, yeah, I got that already. Where is it? Oh, it's back there somewhere. I don't pull that out and look at it. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's the STC Pod podcast you'll find on this channel as well. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll hear it. Although apparently we have to start recording them in secret now, because apparently when we do a live stream, I turn into like a game show host or something, is what he's saying.
It's because somebody can't edit anything he wants out before it gets published when you go live.
Which is a great reason to watch the live stream, because it's live. He forgets that things are live. But yeah, that was a tough episode, last one to get through. He got moody. He got moody on me.
It's good times.
Anyways, if you would like to see more live streams of STC Pod, you don't think I turn into a game show host for it, send Joe, my partner on STC Pod, a private message and say I love the live streams. Maybe it's because what channel it's appearing on. I'm thinking that might be it too. But anyways, is there anything? I don't know if we're going to have viewers this late in the show, but do you guys want to promote yourself at all? Tell people where they can find you and the goods you put out there. Kevin, I know you got lots to say.
Retro Fandango. Listen to the podcast. Type it into Google, and that's pretty much it. Oh, check out the blog, buriedonmars.wordpress.com.
Yeah, thanks for that write-up. That was spectacular. You put into words what I've been trying to describe this as, just right there.
Cross promotion. I know a lot of my music friends read the blog, so I thought I'd throw it up there just in case any of them were interested. And it appeared at least one was, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, good stuff. It worked. Does that shit appear on this Facebook thing people talk about?
No, I haven't linked anything to Facebook in forever. I probably should if I was really, wanting to promote myself and get more views and that, but nah.
All right. What about BigBandy? You got anything you want to throw out there?
Not really. I don't know. Look for me on an upcoming podcast where we talk about tea and Star Trek.
I've heard about this.
I'll look for that. Yeah, for sure. Other than that, so we did where we start with the M's and we got to. Did we really start with the M's and only get to L? Oh, God.
Well, you had a lot of Lightfoot, so.
That's a lot of Lightfoot. So I will put a preview of. Ooh, this is good. Oof. Burp. So there's your preview.
There you go.
We start with the K's next episode.
Big influential band, that one.
Don't know when we'll get to that episode. The thing is, we've been streaming so much. My StreamYard account only allows for a certain amount of hours every month. So
oh, really?
I don't know when it runs out, but
oh no.
Contribute to the Patreon so we can pay for StreamYard. I don't have a Patreon. No, but Anyways, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks you guys for showing up. We'll end it here and catch you next time when we start with the K's. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.